Welcome to the REPMO Football Show presented by Beauty and Wellness Co. David Brazil alongside Coach Ryan Cornelsen, and time for another week of talking Tiger football. We're going to look back at the Nixa game here in a bit, and then we'll look ahead at Waynesville, your first road game of the year. First, in general, I just wanted to talk to you not necessarily about the game, but the response of the kids, how that was, how they were, what you told them after the game. Didn't go as well as you wanted, but I know you're always trying to move forward.
Yeah, you know, it was tough. There's no doubt. Anytime you lose in a big game, it's not easy. It's not easy on the kids. It's not easy on the coaches. You know, what an amazing environment. You know, our community. Wow, it was. You know, I don't know how many people were there, but it was a lot, and created an amazing environment for our kids. And obviously, we wanted to do better than that, and you know, but that's part of it. You know, we tell our kids, you know, like that's sports. You know, you're not always gonna to come out on the winning end, and you got to try to do everything you can to prevent it and try to get to where you can come out with a win. But we weren't able to do it. You know, it's not the first time. It won't be the last. It was a tall task. Game one, we felt like defensively we had a really good plan, and they executed the plan, which that was great to see, because you never really know. You know, with new faces in there, they took away. Our defense took away what they wanted to do up the middle and what they do best, and we were able to take that away. And then they went to the edge, and we just couldn't tackle them in space. And so that was, for defense, that was kind of the defining moment. Was we took away what they did best, and then they went to the edge. And part of that is, a lot of that being game one, we didn't know what they had to the edge. We weren't prepared for speed option. We hadn't seen that. You know, we would have probably played that a little differently if we knew it was coming. But you know, I was excited that the kids were able to take away the inside, the counter, the power, and the things that they did all last season and wanted to do, and we were able to stop it. We just got to do a better job of tackling in space. But I thought, if you watched our defense, they played extremely hard. They were flying around. They played with some enthusiasm, and so I felt like they did fairly well, other than tackling in space. And then offensively, they threw a lot of stuff at us that you know, was tough. And so when they throw that much at you, you know, guys like Chance and some of the guys that have been around were ready for it. Were able to make the adjustments fast, and then a lot of our new faces, it was too much too soon. They weren't ready to play, whether it was either at that speed or with the adjustments, and so we weren't able to create the push that we typically do. And it's, you know, it's one of those deals on the offensive line. It is a unit, and so even if one side you feel like you can push it, if the backside isn't getting it done, it's not going to work. So you know, so that was kind of, to me, was the game. Was we weren't able to move the line of scrimmage offensively and make the adjustments fast enough to see it work, and tackle in space defensively. But you know, with all that said, it's really hard for us to execute at the level it takes to win a game at that magnitude early. And you know, our style, you know, we take a lot of pride in what we do, but we have to execute at a very high level. And sometimes it looks like it's the same plays and it's whatever, but there's a lot going on up front, and that's not easy to do. Even the first few weeks, like, it takes time for them to see all of it and recognize it and correct it during the week. And we'll be better off because of that game. As hard as that was to lose, and I know our kids, there was a lot of excitement about it. The reality is, for me, most important is that we improve off of it and that we get better because of it. So that's really been the message, is we got to get back to work. That's really all we know. We got to put our head down, get back to work, fix what was wrong, and get better because of the game.
We're going to look at some of what went right, some of what went wrong on our highlights after this timeout on the REPMO Football Show.
This is Vanessa at Beauty and Wellness Co. At Beauty and Wellness, we are all about REPMO spirit, and we're also about helping you optimize your internal wellness and enhance your external beauty. Whether you're looking to age gracefully or just looking for a boost of energy to help you refuel and recover, we are the place to go. Visit our spot at Highway 174 and Main Street. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at Beauty Plus Wellness CO or call us at 417-590-8200.
Go Tigers!
Welcome back to the REPMO Football Show. I want to take a look at a little bit of video from last week against Nixa. Before we do, wanted to thank Whataburger again for providing drinks all season and being a supporter of Republic Tiger Sports. So season started, or the series started well, and the season with that offensive drive. You really went right at them. I thought that was a good start.
It was. We just weren't able to do that, the entire game. But you can take this drive and you can see what we're capable of when we're doing things right and making sure we're picking things up. That's just our base stuff. Isaiah there made a nice block. Again, they got a lot of guys to the point of contact, but he had a nice block coming out of the backfield. And again, this is stuff we do all summer, all year. There's a 5-yard gain, and so our offense has to work where we get ahead of the chains. And really, the next couple of drives, we're not able to do that. But this one we were trapped. We have a missed assignment. We ran past the kick. And that's why that didn't go well there. And I think as we got tired, you can see our offensive line, even this first drive, our pad level was too high. It wasn't anywhere close to what we typically are. And again, I think that's game one, nerves, big environment. You kind of forget maybe some of the things that is your staple to what you do. And again, that's hard because you've practiced all summer, you're not going live, so you really got to drop your pad level. And so moving forward, we'll focus on it, we'll get better at it, and we'll start dropping our pad level. Preston does a nice job here bending that back out of the backside when things kind of pile up. Sometimes the cut back lane, and we end up scoring on a cutback because it just piled up on us a little bit. But that's us.
Yeah.
It's not always pretty, but as long as we're getting positive yards, we feel good about it.
And your margin of error against a Nixa is a lot slimmer
right,
than
for
it is
sure.
against most teams too.
And that was a good play there, but a lot of that's Preston being Preston, and he bounced outside and was able to create a big run for us, and we need him to do that each and every week. Sometimes we need him to stay in the lane, and sometimes we need him just to be the athlete he is, and he was able to do that play. And then Owen there finds the cutback lane. Luna, our center, he stayed on his block on the backside, which we weren't the rest of the night we didn't do, but that play he did, and so he saw on film, hey, if I can hold on to that block, we got a chance to score. There was the onside. We felt like we touched it at 11, just like we practiced.
Yeah.
Somehow they saw it differently, which was a big turnaround.
Was a big swing,
And our kids, we understand if we don't get the onside, for us it's not a gamble. We just line up and play.
Yeah.
But when you feel like you got it, that's tough. But you see there on play one, we not only do we tackled the back, but we got to the quarterback. We took away the inside run. There, Ethan back to back.
Yep.
First play he tackled the quarterback, and then that play he got to the running back, coming off the edge and just being aggressive, playing fast. We try to keep things simple so they can play fast. Again, not to try to bash on officials, but I disagree with that. I felt like the offensive player made contact and pulled us to the receiver, which created the contact and so I didn't feel like it was interference, but it was. We got to do a better job keeping our cool there and just lining up and playing the next play. And we had a breakdown here, and they got away from us here pretty quick.
And we'll talk about this when we look at the stats, but the big plays to the outside, and there you had him and lost him, and McCaster goes for the touchdown.
Yeah, we had guys there. We had guys there, and we just missed the tackle, and that's a bad set of events there. You felt like you got the onside, then the interference call, then they break a big one. And so You know, that obviously that's a tough strand there for our defense, but they came back and played pretty well, even at, you know, when bad things happened. But you know, that wasn't a great stretch for us there, 3 plays in a row.
One thing I thought was pretty good all night was the kick return.
Yeah.
You had solid returns pretty much all night.
JT did a nice job of just finding the lane and getting what he could get. Again, you know, on that trap there, missed assignment. We went wide with our tackle instead of going down. And these are all things, you know, yesterday in film, you just go over and over it. There, Preston was trying to pull it. We were clamped too hard on the ball and weren't able. That play there was probably the best we blocked the entire game, was that play, and we just got stuck in the pocket and couldn't get the ball out. And so, you know, that's unfortunate. You know, you have you block it well, you got it set up, and the read was right. Just didn't work there. Preston, he underthrew it. I mean, it's just not, you know, he's thrown that ball all summer, and we didn't block it very well. He got pressure, and when you get pressure, sometimes you underthrow it. We just underthrew it and killed the drive, or we didn't get the first. So.
And then they immediately respond, another big play. That was kind of one of the stories up front, obviously, but then the big plays that they had.
Yep, and so you take that little span there from when we drove the ball.
Yep.
The onside we didn't get, penalty, then 2 big runs. You know, like there was just a lot of things right there in a row that you know that hurt. You know that we got to be better than that if we want to have a chance to win big games.
The game was still in reach in the third quarter after this interception.
Yeah, and I thought the biggest part of that interception is Norman he rerouted the receiver, which allowed us to get to the pick. So sometimes you see the guy who makes the interception. Fisher made a nice play, but it was all set up on the pick. There's a little more what I'm used to Preston. I mean, when he throws it, he can throw that thing in there, and he had to thread the needle there. I mean, it wasn't wide open, and he put it right on him, and Owen made a great catch and held on the ball after contact. There's our midline, and Preston makes the right read and shoots through and gets a good gain. Again, we got to be able to go both directions and stay more balanced, and we weren't quite able to do that. But there was basically faking power to the strong side and then running the Z back around, and Jen made a nice play.
This is Pelfrey's long
run.
Yeah,
this is the same run and play, the trap that we ran earlier twice and didn't block it correctly. And then the last time we blocked it correctly, and that's what happened. So the kids were able to see, you know, what happens when you have missed assignments versus when you don't. Now maybe they had different personnel in. That doesn't really matter to us. What matters to us is if you block it right, it's going to go.
Yeah.
And so a lot of things. I mean, we spent a lot of time yesterday on film, probably more than what we typically do, on just corrections and understanding this has to happen for us to be successful. You know, I was really proud of the kids. I felt like they played hard. They you know, their attitude was good. Their body language was good, even when things weren't good. I felt like we maintained the body language, which the kids know I look for that. To me, that's something that has to happen if you're going to be a championship level team. Is your body language can't change with good or bad, and so I felt like we accomplished that, and so there were some good things. Obviously, when you lose a big game like that, there's, you know, it's not what you want, but there's things for us to build on, and we're going to get better. I mean, if you watch, you take the last 4 years. I don't know that we played any better or any worse than we have the last 4 years.
I would say that this game one was better than some of your game ones on your really good seasons.
Yeah. I mean, we, you know, like even the year we went to state, you know, our first 3 games weren't very good. Now we were 2-1 coming out of there, but it wasn't, you know, like it takes. It's I know it seems what we do doesn't look complex, but up front it is complex, and it takes them time to figure out where they're almost communicating without talking. When they see the shift, they just know it. They were shifting. We were trying to communicate it, and you can't do it that way. You just have to know.
Yeah.
And the only way to get to that point at the varsity level is to play. And so, but the reality is our kids understand, our program understands, we're not defined by what we do early in the year. Did we want to win? Did we have a game plan we felt like gave us a chance? Absolutely. But we're more concerned with where we're at the end of the season, what we get to. And you know, so I still think it was a great game one, and the fact that we got to see some things that if we didn't play a schedule like we do, we wouldn't see till the back end of the season.
Yep.
You know, like every game presents a new challenge, and we learn things from it. And so we're going to take that game and we're going to build off of it, and we're going to be better because of it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and be back and look at some of the stats from Friday after this timeout on the REPMO Football Show.
Looking for your next ride? Come see us at Pinnaker Chevrolet in Republic. Not only do we have a great selection of new Chevrolets on the lot, we've got a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, all makes, all models, ready to drive home today. Need to sell or trade? We're buying cars, trucks, and SUVs, and we'll give you top dollar, no strings attached. Fair deals with local people you can trust. Let our family take care of yours at Pinnaker Chevrolet in Republic or online at pinnakerchevrolet.com.
Welcome back to the REPMO Football Show, and we'll take a look at last week by the numbers, courtesy of Elliott Robinson Company. First downs were fairly even. A lot of times when you're losing, you still end up with more first downs because of the way your drives go. So the fact that Nixa had 20 first downs to 15 is probably an indication that things weren't going that well. Rushing yards, they had more rushing yards than you, also kind of rare, but one thing that stood out to me was how many attempts it took them to get that many yards. And we talked about big plays. They rushed it 31 times, had almost 300 yards. You rushed it 53 and had 240.
Yeah, I think, you know, you look at, obviously you're trying to eliminate explosive plays. Obviously the running back was a good player, and we struggled getting him on the ground. You know, that from that point, it wasn't good. You know, like we got to get better. Obviously, we feel like we can do, like, we can be a little more dynamic offensively, and we got to play from ahead of the chains. You know, that if you look at the games we haven't played well, you look at the first and second down. Like if we're playing ahead of the chains, then we're able to balance out. We're able to do more play action, some of those things. We just weren't able to get there. And so now it puts us in a situation where we're forced to do things instead of doing what we want to do. And so our kids understand that. We felt like we lost on not first downs as getting first downs, but on down one. And we have to win down one. If we don't win that, we have to win down two. And we weren't in those situations. We lost those downs. If you look at the first drive, we won those downs. And so now our offense is different as far as what we're capable of doing when we win those downs. You know, the turnovers, you know, that again, we can't have turnovers. Total yards, I mean, again, we're not so concerned with the stats as we are what we can do to be better. And so there's no doubt they beat us pretty handily. We had a lot of things we got a lot of things to work on, but it's one of those things that you'll start to see the difference. Like I feel really good about the play, like the fact that our body language stayed the way it did. You know, and our kids, I told them, hey, you know, put your head down, go back to work. And I thought this week in the weight room was improved. You know, they got the message. You know, they understand, like, that's not acceptable. We're not going to make excuses for it. I mean, they beat us hands down. But, you know, it was again a huge environment, and we didn't play that well, and so that's tough on everybody. But no excuses. That they beat us. Now we're going to go get better.
We're going to talk to Chance Gimlin after this on the REPMO Football Show. Since 2014, Republic Animal Hospital has been caring for pets with the personal touch you'd expect from a hometown clinic.
You know people are friendly here. I think there's still those small town values here, and I like being part of the community.
From dogs and cats to pocket pets, Dr. Ferguson and her team provide compassionate care in a comfortable, expanded facility designed for both pets and their people. Republic Animal Hospital, caring for your pets because they're family. Welcome back to the REPMO Football Show, joined by Chance Gimlin, one of the offensive line standouts for the Tigers this year. You are a senior now, and you've had a lot of varsity experience. I'll start by just asking, what's it like being out there as a senior as opposed to a sophomore?
I feel like you get a lot more use. You know what's going to happen. It's just basically more of like an experience thing. And obviously you get a lot better from sophomore. You get a lot stronger, bigger, smarter from sophomore to senior year.
Are there things that have, from the time you started getting varsity playing time, things that have surprised you about playing offensive line, or not just necessarily the position you play, but just the experience you've had?
I think it's probably, the offensive line is probably, I feel like we're the closest group. I feel like you can't really play that spot without relying on all four of the other guys.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's 5 different spots, but I feel like it's just one position. And that's what kind of surprised me the most about it.
A lot of places, and it's kind of a cliche that the offensive line gets overlooked. Do you feel overlooked as a group here, or do you feel like this program touts the offensive line?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of stuff moves through the offensive line, and I feel like we get credited probably more than we should for the most part sometimes, maybe.
I don't know about that.
But we definitely get credit.
Yeah. So first game was against Nixa.
Yeah.
You knew it was going to be a tall order. You had experience out there. Landon had a lot of experience. There was a lot of inexperience out there.
Yeah.
Did Nixa throw things at you weren't expecting, or what was the biggest challenge you faced with them?
I think that there wasn't anything that we didn't know they were going to do coming into it. I just think it was first game. There's a lot of, the speed is definitely way faster than in practice. And his first game, we had a lot of new people on the offensive line. And I can remember back to my last game. If you compare this Nixa game to my Nixa game last year, they're very different. Yeah. And I just really think it was an experience thing, and we're going to get better with each game.
We've talked before the season with Coach about your leadership and Landon's leadership and ability to know the offense.
Yeah.
How much time do you spend learning the offense, studying the offense, trying to learn where everybody else needs to be too?
Yeah, I think that you're learning something every single day. I'd say we spend at least 3 days watching film, going over it, learning stuff. But even up to the Thursday walkthrough, we're still learning new things and fixing new things. And I don't think you ever stop learning the offense. There's always more to learn.
Any positives you can take from Friday?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that we can get better at. And the good thing is that they're all things we can fix.
What's one of the things that you feel like will be an obvious improvement going forward? Not necessarily just in week 2, maybe in week 2, but as the season goes on, where do you expect to get better?
I think we all need to play with lower pad level. We came out, and that's in our offense. If you don't play with low pad level and get physical, then it's hard to run our offense. And I think that we came out and we weren't as physical and as low as we needed to be.
I've talked to other seniors and asked them, even though the season started, I'll ask you, what are you looking forward to the most about your senior season?
I think we got a really good group of guys, a lot of talent, and I've been playing with these guys for forever, and it feels kind of surreal that we're the last season, but I feel like we got a great team, and I'm just looking forward to seeing how good we can get.
All right. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Chance Gimlin, and we'll be back with more after this. Welcome back to the REPMO Football Show presented by Beauty and Wellness Co. And we've got Waynesville on Friday, traveling there for the first time. What do you know about them? What do you expect that Friday?
Yeah, it's new coach this year, so both offensively and defensively, new schemes. We really only have the one film against Carthage to go by, but immediately when you turn the film on, they're athletic. They've got a good running back. He's very dynamic. They've got a slot receiver that could go at any time, and really Carthage beat them on big plays. Carthage came out and onside kicked it and got it, and then they got interception. They got a fumble recovery. They got a punt return. Between the outside of the big plays, I felt like Waynesville was much improved on a year ago, and they got hammered on the scoreboard with big plays. But the reality is, so did we. So they've got some explosive players. We're going to have to come out and have another good showing by our defense, but tackle in space. Like, we're going to work it. We worked it all week, and we got to be better at being able to tackle another athletic back in space. And then they're really big up front. A lot of their kids, majority of their kids, play both ways. It's almost the same group that goes both ways, and they're big up front. So again, we'll be dealing with a size issue, but I felt like defensively last week we were able to handle that all right, but offensively we're gonna have to get our pad level down. So they got some explosive players. Again, defensively, their quarterback number 2 is also their safety. Man, he made a lot of tackles. He's not real big, but man, he came down. He caught my attention on film, just how hard he came down and made plays. And so they've got some sophomore kids that we saw in last year's freshmen that we knew were good football players, and they play kind of their tight end and their H and their big kids, and they were good on last Friday. So I feel like it's a much improved Waynesville team. They've got a good system. I just think they got the big plays. It looked like it was a blowout, and it was. Big plays count, but between take those out. I felt like they matched up a lot better than they did a year ago against Carthage, and used some athletic skill guys to give them a chance.
All right. We'll have live coverage of the Waynesville game starting around 6:40 on Friday with the Hines Street Pharmacy pregame show. Thanks for the conversation today, and good luck on Friday.
Appreciate it.